I really want to focus on hotkeys for doing everything. But to really understand the hotkeys, we have to understand what the hotkeys are for. And as you saw just a second ago, I hit the play button here to play back the sequence. Pretty straightforward, I know. Standard playback controls we have under each one of these players. One for the sequence and one for the source. We have a play button, we've got go to next frame or previous frame, we have go to next transition button, and we also have a couple of buttons on the outside to navigate the different sections of our footage, our sequence, or our source. And that's really what I want to focus on very quickly here. You'll notice that there's this little dark triangle on the bottom of 3 of the buttons. Now if I click on this and hold it, you'll see it actually opens up a flyout with different options for how I want to play back my sequence or my source. Whether you want to play through the in and out, your start to out, do you want it to loop, and so on. Also, as I mentioned, these 2 outside buttons have the same little triangle. So if I click on that, now you're going to see I've got a whole bunch of different options as to how I want to navigate or jump to different sections of my sequence or my source. Whether it's the in mark, start clip, cue marks, keyframes, and so on. Also notice that you get a list of the different hotkeys that are available for each one that actually has a hotkey designated for it already. But my point of this is, let's say I want to switch this button to be the go to cue mark. So I choose that out of my list. You'll notice that the little icon next to the arrow just changed, but also notice that it changed over here too. These are linked together. When you change one of them, the other one will also change. Also, look over at my source view. It also now has changed to match the go to cue mark button. And you can change it very easily by, just clicking on the button, holding it, and then you'll notice the action that I've chosen is the one that is aligned with the button. What I mean by that, if I go back to in mark, we now switch everything back to going to the in and out marks. And if I click the button once again and hold it, you'll see that the in mark is lined up. So we're going to be taking a look at all these different hotkeys a little later when we start creating keyframes and setting markers and so on. So right now, I really just wanted to point that out to you. The other thing, of course, is whenever you go to any one of the menus up here, next to any action or task that you have, you're going to see the hotkeys that are listed for them independently also. Okay, so again, just different resources to try to remember the hotkeys that we're going to be covering and learning here right now. And then each player also has a scrub bar that you can scrub and drag around here. So like independently, I can scrub my source or I can scrub my sequence. And of course, you'll notice down here in the sequence tab area, the current frame or the positioner is also going to move with the scrubbing because they're linked together. Oh, here's another hotkey. If you ever need to scrub both your source and sequence at the same time, you can do it by holding my Control and my Shift key and going to my tab area. And if I scrub, you'll notice that I can scrub both the source and the sequence view. This can be very handy at times when you're trying to sync up or line up or figure out what in and outs or what frames you want to use from your source into your sequence. If I click on my Source tab, now I'm accessing the source itself, and I hold Control Shift again. I can scrub through and I can be looking at my sequence and my source at the same time to figure out exactly maybe what in and outs I want and so on. Definitely can be a very handy hotkey. Let me bring the Sequence tab back forward. Okay, so forget the buttons, right? Let's talk about our hotkeys. As I mentioned, Smoke 2013 has the JKL workflow that you're probably already familiar with from other applications, but I've got to go over it just in case someone isn't familiar with it, okay? So JKL, L is going to play your clip forward. Let me make sure my sequence is focused. I hit L. Sequence plays forward. Hit K. I stop the playback. I hit J. We play backwards. Again, hit the K key to stop the playback. And then, of course, if you repeatedly start to hit the L or the J, forward or backwards, you're going to increase the speed increment as to how fast it's playing back. So, example, I'll hit L once. I'll hit L again. You notice right over here, it says ×2. Hit L again, ×3. L again, ×4. Hit K to stop it. Same thing for J. Hit J once, J twice, J 3 times. I think you get the idea. I'll hit the K key to stop. So JKL will allow you to play forward, backward, stop, and speed up the increment of your playback.